What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description. Also, you know I'm a Weeble preferred influencer. Best promotion they have right now. Hopefully we found the bottom to this market. It's been a really rough couple of months, but the best promotion they have for you is in the link below. And you can't lose money when it's free stocks, which is what they give you, whether you deposit $1 or not. So the big news this morning: FIFA and EA Sports will end their almost 3-decade-long relationship, per a source in the World Cup. When you look at this, it's something that's been going on for a long time. Obviously, I think it's been a little bit over-publicized today because, as you can see there, EA Sports will introduce a new title. So it's not as if they're doing away with a soccer game. They're just losing the licensing deal with World Cup soccer. So I do want to go on and say here at least the formalities of what was said. Andrew Wilson came out and said they're thankful for many years of a great partnership with FIFA. The future of global football is very bright and fandom around the world has never been stronger. We have an incredible opportunity to put EA Sports FC at the heart of the sport and to bring even more innovative and authentic experiences to a growing football audience. So essentially what he's saying is, hey, we didn't need this license as much as you think we do. Everything's going to be fine because the sport as well as our game is as strong as can be. And when you look at the sales, when you look at the ratings, and when you carry this over to what EA has done with Madden, it really doesn't always seem to be as perfect as EA states it to be. I mean, this is a company now that you can go back, is going to struggle with the NASCAR licenses, is going to struggle with the NBA licenses, is going to struggle with the baseball license, and then now is going to look to lose FIFA. That leaves only one remaining sport, and I think we all know what that is because we talk about it so many on my channel. And this kind of goes on to say what we know all along is, this is so much less about making the best game for a customer, but kind of creating this political environment where only one company can make new games. And we've seen, interestingly enough, when the licenses get lost, it doesn't actually hinder a company from making a game. 2K made All-Pro Football. Unlicensed games used to be very common, especially in wrestling games. I mean, they're not so much now, but FIFA obviously went on here to say it would be launching soccer games developed with third-party studio and publishers, and that several non-simulation games were already in production that will launch in the third quarter of this year. They go on to have the FIFA president say, "I can assure you that only the authentic, real game that has the FIFA name will be the best one available for gamers and football fans. The FIFA name is the only global original title. FIFA 23, FIFA 24, FIFA 25, FIFA 26, and so on. The consistent is the FIFA name, and it will forever remain the best." So very contradictory statements in terms of what you have EA and Andrew Wilson come out and saying versus the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino. So I think that when you look at this, obviously transitioning over to the football space, this is a real opening in the window. This isn't the end-all, be-all. This isn't the NFL's leaving next week. But understand that where this positions them going is what's going to be looked at. I know a lot of people will say, what happened today, what happened right now is going to be the catalyst for the NFL ceasing the agreement. That's not necessarily the case. In my opinion, what has to happen is two things. Number one, you have to have an explosion of growth with these new FIFA titles. So whatever agreement they're going to start, whatever independent developers they're going to do, those have to show a categoric improvement from over what EA has done and hold that for a couple years. Number two, you need EA's title, their unlicensed game, whatever they're going to do, to falter. If those two things can happen, that is what will provide insight from a data perspective from somebody within the NFL to say, okay, here is EA Sports. They've lost or faltered a number of licenses. Now we've seen another company come into the space, and all of a sudden, not only are they producing more games, they're producing better received games, and EA continues to make a subpar product. That is where we are. I think to go over to motorsports games and look at what's happened with NASCAR, which EA, as I mentioned, had also lost getting that license, and now NASCAR looking to move out. That's a situation where the game released, it did not release positively, and then now, whether motorsports games is in trouble or not, you have the data behind it to justify pulling a license from a game developer. And that's pretty much where the NFL needs to see itself. I did a video a week ago where I talked about the popularity of the NFL versus the popularity of Madden using the basic of just Google search terms. The data is there. If they wanted to make the decision today, you can make any decision you want regarding the license and have the data available, whether you want to go by the Metacritic score, whether you want to go by sales units, whether you want to go by how many games have to be given away. No matter what metric the NFL would want to use to terminate the license, they could do that. And EA has always countered this by coming out and saying, hey, we generate fan engagement. Look at how many more interested people we have in the game. Look at how much this involves you with the sport, going through Madden Ultimate Team, the legendary players. EA plays its cards, no pun intended when we talk about Madden Ultimate Team, very, very well. And everything they do is extremely strategic to make it seem as if they're giving the NFL and its sponsors, going back to the game, you have all that sponsorship built into the product. They do that, in my opinion, to help include those brands and make those brands happy. Hey, your official truck, if you remember back before, your official pizza, the Pizza Hut Stadium, they bring all these things in to engage the viewer subconsciously of, hey, this is additional benefits for you as an NFL sponsor. You're going to be included in the NFL game. So to fracture that relationship is going to take a lot, but it is going to take something like this. So to me, this is a huge step. This is something that a lot of us have seen coming for a very long time. This to me speaks to not just overall the quality control at EA, but the way some, and I stress some, employees are handled, right? We've seen it ourselves. People come in from the community to work on this game. They last a handful of years. They don't even begin to complete the promises or commitments they have. Things that are still broken with the game or still broken the entire tenure they've been there and left. And we continue to have one of the worst rated games, not just football games, one of the worst rated sports games in our genre. And it is absolutely a detriment to anyone working in this space. You can go look across the board. Everyone's views are down because the interest of Madden is non-existent. And I'm sorry, at this point, we just had the draft. This should be a time where it's extremely relevant. You should want to have people going out, creating these players, generating drafts, having fun within the context of the game. But instead, you see quality sports titles like The Show, multiple other titles outside of the sports that come in and capture the imagination. I'm not saying The Show is the best game on the market. I'm saying it captures the imagination away from a football fan because they want to engage in other sports. I've said for a long time, The Show made me a baseball fan. The Show brought me back to baseball because the game is just that detailed. Madden actually is so bad, it's pushed me away from football. And that's something that's sad to say as someone that's built a career basically with 97,000 subscribers on YouTube, that the game is so bad, I really don't even have to play it because I get clips every day showing why I don't have to play it, reminding myself why it is so bad and why it's a waste of my time and everyone's time to try to get good in this game, because it simply is not a quality product. I'm glad that FIFA sees that a developer like EA is either incapable or simply does not want to pay to have the talent to make a good game, and I certainly hope the NFL follows suit as soon as possible. Love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking this out, and you know I will be back as soon as I can with more content.